ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to what will be game number 1 in a best of 5 series between Riot, aka Garja, and Look Tom. I was clicking on Edeholland's green button there. I thought that was mine. It wasn't actually working. This is the final series of the day, and I will be joined by none other than Edeholland, who we saw earlier for the previous 2 series casting with Chrissy, but now casting with me. This match looks like it will be a Dutch mirror on, of course, Kamchatka. Lots of Dutch. We're seeing lots more Dutch than we used to, and Dutch casters as well. Chrissy speaks the Dutch, and I believe you're a Dutch. Is that correct, Dutch?
Yes, Edeholland, the name says it all, I would say. I'm, of course, born and raised Dutch, and going to cast this game with my co-caster Interjection. You should know that Riot is Garja, so yeah. They're one and the same person.
Yep,
so
he
no
has
confusion there.
He has a few accounts: Garja, Riot, 456, and probably some others as well. But let's start with him. Here he is in the north of the map in the color red. We will be calling this player who is playing on the account Riot Garja. We'll probably end up calling him Garja because it is, of course, Garja, and that is his main account that everybody knows him on. Certainly a very strong player currently, one of the strongest on ESOC currently, I would say. Here he is, of course, playing as the Dutch. Going for the early market. And, of course, I wonder what treasures he has found. Let's take a look. Let's see what he's going to come across. Go ahead.
Early market. I think it's a 200 wood start, is it not?
I believe so, yeah. He's gone for a house and the hunting dogs in a market, so that would make sense.
And he's got only got 50 wood in treasures, so it's definitely a 200 wood start. And even going for hunting dogs right now, very good for him, very early. Maybe you should quickly introduce the other player in the map in the east. We have Look Tom.
Absolutely right. Playing as the Dutch as well in the color cyan, or teal, I'll probably end up calling it. I've got a tendency to do that. Now picking up a 40 XP treasure. Not the best kind of treasure, but certainly the ones on your side of the map are always quite small on Kamchatka. The 2 good treasures are the ones in the middle of the map. That's right, and that's always ends up being quite interesting. I love how the goats are following Garja around. That's really, really nice to see. He's making sure no risks being taken here. But we do have Look Tom dragging his Explorer in with, he's using the envoy trick there. He's trying to get the Explorer to move a bit quicker. Did Garja possibly using goats to block it? No, but does...
Oh yeah, I think Look Tom got it.
Yeah, yes. He did get it. Look Tom
really
picking up 80 food and one of the smaller treasures in his base as well, and has managed to snare him by the looks of it. Garja not going to be too happy about that.
Garja losing a lot of HP on his hero very early on. Yep. He did got the goats, and his envoy is running around here and also got another goat, so he might get a goat advantage in the long run, but right now he's a bit of a disadvantage.
I think that might have been something quite tactical out of Look Tom. He went around the map, got the goats on his side of the map first so that the opponent's envoy couldn't find them in this location. Did pick up that 40 XP treasure as well because he thought he had time to, and then moved to the middle of the map knowing that perhaps Garja would go for a treasure, and then picked it up at the last moment. He didn't invest any hit points into the treasure guardian at all. Garja did all of the hard work there, and as a result of that manages to pick himself up a treasure, and he gets to send this Explorer all the way home on incredibly low hit points. So Look Tom off to a really, really nice start. Though having said that, the game is still very, very even. Both players almost identical age times, and it is at that point in the game, Edeholland, that the Dutch players transition all their villages over to wood. And we know what that means, right?
Yes, they are definitely going to save for 300 wood at least, and going to build up a bank with them. Originally the banks cost 350 food and wood, but now it's only 350 food and 300 wood. So a bit of a buff there for Dutch. And as you can see, Look Tom has a big advantage in the wood count, and that's probably because he got those early treasures. The 80 food helps him by aging up quicker and getting to transition his villagers over to wood earlier, so
yeah,
definitely a nice advantage.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the bank has seen a wood reduction, but anyway, the food that he picked up, definitely going to be really useful for getting that bank down, and just means he can spend more villager time on wood. Yeah, there is another 75.
Yes,
this is
get that.
Yeah, he's going to grab it. It's so good for him, right? Because he sent Garja's Explorer all the way home, attacked him all the way back, and now he has such low hit points that Garja couldn't conceivably go for that treasure. So Look Tom just doing everything in this early game and winning Age 1 really, really nicely, grabbing all these treasures and off to a really, really nice start. I do think, though, Garja overall might be the stronger player in this matchup, but he might have his work cut out. That Age 1 was exceptional.
Yes, very good for him. I do like Garja's decision of going here and taking the 40 wood treasure, because it was a treasure with only one guardian, so he could easily take it down with the shot, even with low HP. And because it's so in the edge of the map, there's no way that Luke Tom would actually find the hero there. So he was not really in a dangerous position and still got another 40 wood. So I really like the decision of still grabbing another treasure while being so damaged.
Absolutely. Does manage to pick it up. Another reason, perhaps, Luke Tom was ahead on the wood count that you mentioned was because he did not get the hunting dogs and a market early on, whereas Garja did. So he does have that working away from him. Garja has invested into the late game a little bit better with that hunting dogs there. But first shipments are about to arrive. We'll have to see what they are. A bank wagon does come down from Luke Tom. And I think normally people are leaning more towards the 700 wood now. Is that right? Given that the banks now do cost a bit less, and you can squeeze an extra house out of the wood shipment. But actually, neither player doing that. They're both going to send the bank wagons. What do you make of this?
Yep. Probably because they're both starting with a stable and they want to win the first Hussar fight. So they want to make sure they get out at least 5 Hussars in the first batch and maybe even a second batch. So because of that, they don't want to spend any food on banks right now. So no 700 wood. And I think that's a good call. Nearly identical builds so far. 5 Hussar now out for Luke Tom.
Yep.
The only difference here is really the market for Garja. And he's even getting some goats already. He really wants to get out as many Hussars as he can. He only got out 4, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal in that first fight as well. Does pick up Freitag, and that's going to be good. And oh, look, Tom, he's playing it smart here. He's not going to. He knows his opponent's likely to get cavalry as well, and as a result of that, doesn't want to send his explorer and envoy too close to his opponent. Here, it almost resulted in him bringing that envoy and the explorer back in a fight there, and of course, Luke Tom would have won that. I really like what he's doing. 4 cav he's gotten out, but he does have 5, and that 5th one he hid somewhere, making Garja think perhaps that he didn't have as many units as he actually did. And then if a Hussar engagement did happen, he went off to get the explorers.
Yeah, he did not even hit it. He actually killed the explorer from Garja, which was really smart from him. So Garja, of course, knew he had 5 Hussars in total, but he did lose his explorer, so no trade post or extra damage or taking up damage from him.
Yeah, so Garja's going to have to be very careful. Another batch of 4 coming out there, so he's only got 10 Hussars. I wonder if his opponent... he's gone for... How many does he have? Let's take a look at the military units.
8 Hussars,
so it'll be an 8 mirror.
Really even.
It is, but we have to remember... And of course, Garja does not have an explorer. That could well be the case.
It might lose 3 villagers.
Oh, 3!
Yes,
oh my goodness.
3 villagers lost.
What a monumental raid! he just walked up to his opponent's...
Really good.
Yeah,
He's
that's...
saying WTF, yeah, I understand why. That was
your nice commentary is great. He's saying WTF, I understand.
Yeah.
That tickles me, I like that. But yeah, a really nice raid there. Both players, though, sending 700 and 600 wood as well. And by the looks of that, they'll be wanting to...
Garja.
That's right, build some banks. And of course, I would imagine with those resources, get the steel traps and perhaps place some mines as well, something like that. But no real engagements here. But Garja, really nice raid there, and as a result of that, swinging that population in his favor, the economic.
Yes, Luke Tom trying to get a raid too. He might get one.
Don't get engaged.
Might get away. He got away.
Oh, he does get snared. He does manage to bring 1 Hussar back, though he's going to lose that. But yeah, that raid, it almost got that villager there, but not quite as successful as that.
Left. Yes.
Yeah, nearly got it.
I would have liked use that last Hussar maybe to get out 1 last shot on the villager, because I believe it didn't actually go in the town center at all. It just ran away, but I'm not quite sure.
Well,
I'm just going to look. It's right now. Here's the 6 HP villager on the hunt, so Luke Tom should pay attention to that.
Yeah, when he comes back in for another raid, or perhaps if he has some skirmishes later on, he ought to keep an eye out for that. But barracks is now being added in from Luke Tom out of the 600 wood shipment that he sent. And by the looks of it, going to start getting some skirmisher production going. We do have another raid, perhaps going to pick up 2 more. Garja, really nice there.
Down.
Oh, that is... He's
really ahead now.
Such a commanding lead. That just... Really, really nice. They're managing to pick up the raids. They looked on perhaps not being as careful as he ought to be. And going into the late game, I think Garja has secured himself a very meaningful advantage. He's going to be very happy about that. The herding, not too good here. There's another villager out stray. Might go down. Almost certainly going to die.
Down. Yes.
Yeah. I wonder if he's creating pikemen or something.
Yes, I think he is, because he's so scared of those raids at this point, and I mean he should be. But both of them trying to get an H up in, both at quite the same time. I think Tom will be a little bit earlier. Let's just see about that.
Riot does get that in first.
Their villager now.
It's almost identical though, but both players are always, okay. Well, actually, yeah, look, Tom is up first as a result of the villager being trained, but still going to be a very, very close age time. Both players have very, very similar XP progressions as well. They have one shipment saved up, though Garja almost, does have is further ahead, and that is probably as a result of the extra XP he's managed to eke out from, having had hunting dogs perhaps earlier, but also the villager kills and things like that.
Yes. Market's coming up for Luke Tom finally.
Quite a late market, yeah.
Luke Tom on 4 banks and Garja on 5 banks actually, so that's where the huge lead from Garja comes in.
And the extra XP, that makes sense as well.
Yes, the recalculated unit prediction is 10 pop higher than Luke Tom,
that's so much. Like an extra bank and a 5 vil, or actually 4 vil deficit, because he Luke Tom did manage to pick up one of his own. But you can see Garja's, even though he had a terrible age 1, you can see Garja superior, perhaps control coming in here. I mean, not just because they were particularly good raids, but Luke Tom perhaps not being as careful as he ought to as well. That is a factor. But does come in for another sneaky raid, and these vills are quite far away. But Garja knows that the hunts are quite far out and has his cavalry positioned there to defend them should he need to. Is the 6 HP vill? It is. I wonder if he'll go for it. Does have Reuters out though, and looks like he has managed to snare these cavalry. This is not a good fight for Luke Tom at all. The Reuters here are going to be very, very effective in this, and all of these cav effectively dead now. Some Reuters of his own coming into the fray, but it's too late, and they might be able to get some damage on the cavalry. No, that's so close! He might even... Oh, he's actually managed to hand combat them. He snared the Dragoons. Oh dear, Luke Tom, that is not too good. Some more Dragoons joining the fray, but I think...
But he does have 9 riders against the 1,000 from Garja, so that's going to give him an advantage early on. But in the long run, of course, Garja can do really nice things with the
infantry combat as well. And as you mentioned, he...
2 barracks and a stable.
And 2 houses. Well, with all that wood, it's to be expected, right, that he can afford these kind of things. But this is a perhaps quite greedy set of cards. 1,000 wood is certainly not military units, which is what Luke Thomas sent, which is 9 Reuters. And infantry combat, well, Garja doesn't have any infantry, so that's of no use to him right now. Obviously, is intending to make infantry. If we look at the units in queue, he's got 2 skirmishers in each of these barracks. Even adding in a 3rd Rax as well. You can look at all those resources he's stacked. Do you think he's potentially going to go to the industrial age?
No, I don't think so.
Or is he's adding in 3 Raxes because he just wants to build tons of skirms?
Out skirmishers, and I mean it's a greedy build. But on the other hand, he's got a huge eco lead, and in mirrors you really want to be as greedy as you can, and I think he's going to be in a huge lead once he has like another batch of skirmishers. He will have 25 skirmishers against 20 at the moment for Tom, but that's with the 8 skirmisher shipment, right?
Yeah, but imagine if Luke Tom's envoy here came in and spotted that, his unit count has not grown at all. If he'd come in and perhaps a minute ago, and we were, and these units were now halfway or all the way across the map and fighting here, Garja's units, he just doesn't have enough. Only a batch of Reuters just now coming out. If he had been fighting in this base, he could really do some meaningful damage, because, he did just send 1,000 wood and infantry combat, and as a result of that, Luke Tom has managed to get 9 Reuters and 8 skirmishers ahead. Those shipments really, 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 gonna just in terms of the military unit population, swing it quite heavily. But I think maybe Garja has had adequate amount of time, and certainly Garja did get a really, really good fight early on when he caught a bunch of hussars and stuff. So maybe he can afford to do this after all. Lots of skirmishers now. Doesn't take long with 3 Raxes, right, Edie?
25 skirmishers, like I said, and Luke Tom did have maybe a small window where he had more units and a better composition, but at this point Garja has just surpassed him in all in all unit counts, I think, yes, they have the same amount of Reuters and skirmishers, but Garja also has another 5 hussars and upgrades for both cavalry and infantry. So at this point, Garja is going to be ahead and probably going to keep being ahead. I mean, he's sending 7 Reuters, but that's just not going to really help him against those massive units Garja has.
Yeah, Garja has a ton of units now as a result of his economy, and they're really well upgraded as well. Been investing in that late game, and as you mentioned, being greedy in the mirror is good. I think, look, Tom did have a window to do something, to be able to catch up in some way, to do some meaningful damage, because those shipments are so greedy. But I think Garja has gotten to the point where he's managed to mass up enough units and has gotten away with it, I suppose, would be the turn of phrase to use here. And as a result of that, you know, look at these look at these Tom shipments. What a phrase. They are. Oh, the Garja cavalry though. They are going to get sniped down. They were. I liked what they were. They were poised to do some raiding, but here going to get caught on the. Yeah. Oh well. He's probably upset with himself for that, but he's still in a commanding lead. But yes, as I was saying, I think look, Tom. You know the shipments he's sending. They do not. Wow. He's team infantry hit point, and this just sets it even more in stone, right? The shipments that look Tom is sending will not stand up in any way to what Garja has sent as we go into this late game portion.
Yes, and we do see they have quite the same amount of military mob, but the Garja units are just so much better. But still, position and micromanagement is going to be a huge factor in this fight. Garja does have the lead in terms of upgrades. They have the same amount of units, but the micromanagement is going to be really important there. Also, Minutemen coming out definitely going to help Luke Tom with those 6 extra units for almost no cost. And it looks like Luke Tom is doing quite a bit of damage here, especially against the Riders.
Yeah.
Only got 11 Riders left, and Luke Tom got 23 left.
It's actually a very reasonable fight, but I think, though, even after this fight, you know, even if Garja doesn't come out as cost-effectively as perhaps he would like to, look, Tom is not going to have the remaining units to push back into Garja. Garja is, you know, going to be able to field more units, and they're still going to be incredibly upgraded. But, yeah, that fight didn't perhaps go as well for Garja as it ought to. But having said that, now we do see some reinforcing units, cavalry, Reuters, that kind of thing. Looks like Garja is going to get the better of him and push back. Do see some cavalry popping out. Nice pop onto the skirms, though, but sadly there are enough Reuters there by the looks of it, and obviously some hussars as well, though they're not doing any damage. Probably don't need to, though. They're going to go around and get onto the skirmishes. That's the unit they are better at fighting. The cavalry not perhaps as effective as they'd like to be. The Reuters taking them out a bit quickly there, and I think this is where we're going to see skirm on goon. Everything's going to melt away, and the GG probably going to come out at this point.
Yes, it should come out pretty soon. I mean, 7 skirmishers coming out for Luke Tom. It's just a desperate call for last reinforcements where Garja is just spamming away his resources into units. He's got 30 skirmishers and can just spam out everything in one. So there's the GG from Luke Tom.
There's the GG. Game number 1 does go to Garja, playing on, of course, his Riot account. Look, Tom does resign. The score is 1-0. And we'll be back in just a moment with game number 2. Do not go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 in this best of 5 series between Riot, aka Garja, and Look Tom. The first match was a Dutch mirror, and that was, of course, won by Garja, as we just saw. As a result of that, he does have to pick his civilization first, and then Look Tom, who just lost, gets to pick his civilization second. He gets that slight advantage over, you know, the civilization choices here. He might be able to engineer himself a favorable matchup. Looks like Riot, aka Garja, is going to pick Spain on Klondike, which is our next map. We'll talk more about that when we get into it, I think. Definitely a nice choice for that civ. But look, Tom, Edeholland is going to be going for Aztecs, like your home city. But that's interesting, right? Because Garja is very well known for himself playing Aztecs, very good at Aztecs. So look, Tom here playing Aztecs against perhaps one of the stronger Aztec players in the game currently. What do you? Oh no, he's changing to France.
No,
Okay,
just change to French. I thought we would have a mirror between the casters and the players, but
yeah, actually, I'm playing Spain. That's right. It would have been.
So just going to quickly go French here. Looks like Luke Tom going to go French, and I think that's a solid choice in most matchups against Spain. I don't know how well they still do in the EP, of course, since Spain has got quite a bit of a buff. But I think it's going to be interesting. On Klondike especially, I really like the more aggressive civs. But on the other hand, there's still quite a large rush distance, so Spain and France should still be comfortable doing a semi-fast fortress or a fast fortress.
Yeah, and I think the most interesting thing about Spain now is the ATP is a card in the metagame that everybody is finding itself being played a lot more than it used to be. And that's, Klondike's a really good map for advanced trading posts. That's what ATP is. It's not that biological energy thing that you learn in science. ATP in Age of Empires 3 is advanced trading post. Looks like everybody is ready. Garja, he has to click in here. He doesn't have a choice because, he chose Spain, he locked it in, and then look, Tom does pick France in response to that. But there are a ton of trading posts, Edie, on this map. And Spain, I think, is one of the few civilizations that can actually afford to send advanced trading posts, and that is because they do have, of course, more XP than other civilizations. Well, not more XP, but their shipments require less XP. I think that is the more accurate way to phrase it. And as a result of that, we'll be able to fit in that ATP, weave it into their build perhaps a little bit easier. And Portuguese, that is the other civ that's very good at sending ATP because they really don't have anything else to send, no three-villager shipment or anything like that.
Definitely true.
But I think we are very, very likely to see advanced trading posts come out on this map. It's something that's become perhaps very popular recently after having seen H2O do some, not necessarily because of him, but I think perhaps he did popularize it. It's definitely good on this map, and we have seen several advanced trading posts build. I'm really excited, Edie, to see Spain being played, and I'm sure you understand why.
Yes, of course, Spain being your main civilization, at least on Nilla for a long time, and we have seen you play it a lot in the past, so I can understand why you like Spain.
Yeah, I really, really like Spain, and I'm very, very excited to see them played here. 40 wood treasure. Guy is going to pick that up right away and going to be really, really pleased about that, I would imagine. It's going to help him get those trading posts down or whatever it is he decides to do. But 40 wood, definitely one of the perhaps superior muskrat treasures that does spawn in your base. I call them muskrat treasures because, well, this map is loaded with them. And another 40 wood treasure. Look at that. He's got two really, really nice treasures. By the way, would you like to check the map and the hunts and all of these things whilst I'm rattling on about whatever it is I decide that comes to my mind?
Sure.
Hey guys, can you just toss in all chat no building rotator, please, or a reminder?
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I'll let you do that, Edie.
Okay, it looks like, by the way, Luke Tom has got 3 extra hunts and got 3 mines nearby, and Garja has got quite the same, so it looks all fair to me.
Okay, I just sent that as well. But yes, this map is filled with muskrat treasures. 50 coin, that's a pretty good one. 30 coin there as well. And they are the only kind of treasures on this base. Muskrat treasures are all of these sort of tier whatever it is, tier 1 we'll call them, 40 XP. They're very small ones, but 40 wood in both of those locations is really, really nice. So that's very good for him, and he's going to be pleased about that. Market going to be super easy there. He's only going to have to gather, well, substantially less wood to get the house, and he's going to be pretty happy about that. But his opponent is playing France, gone for the early market, and has the native scout, so is perhaps going to be able to find all of these smaller treasures. I don't really know. I mean, obviously it's a bonus, but Spain does have the war dog for that too. But
yes, and the war dog being a lot better against treasure guardians, of course.
Yeah, but because the treasures aren't as good, it's obviously war dog is less valuable, right? So what would you say is better, the native scout here or the war dog on this particular map, given the circumstance of the treasures?
Yes, because the treasures are so small, I am inclined to say the native scout indeed, especially because of the stealth feature. I don't know if you have seen the other game we've casted on Klondike today.
Oh, we did manage to get a hit off on him there.
He did got a snare, yes.
Yeah,
but there was one game today where the enemy had his scout near the opponent's barracks for the whole game and could scout everything he sees. So in that way, the scout is definitely going to be better in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. And it's always something you should really remember when you're playing against France, that they have that scout and that they could be seeing everything that you're doing. Do we have a treasure contention? Perhaps the lowest investment
40
treasure.
XP,
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but still, you got to work with what you get on Klondike.
It's the small things that matter, but it does mean that Luke Tom is got away from Garja, which means you can pick up this 40 wood. Definitely a very nice trick, distracting Garja by going for the 40. Well, it might have been, right? I mean,
okay.
Garja now has spent like a minute on taking the treasure. He misclicked it 2 times or something. And running away with 40 wood.
Yeah, and that's obviously one of the superior treasures on this map. It is adequately guarded by a polar bear, but given that you have absolutely nothing else to use your crack shot on, it's usually not too much of a problem to get. But both players are now aging up. Looks like very similar age times, though Luke Tom is slightly ahead. So we'll look at him here, and during transition, by the looks of it, is going to lay down the gang saw upgrade. But yep, going to be gathering up, I imagine, all of the resources that he would need for a trading post. Of course, that explorer is in position here.
ATP being sent by Garja, and immediately he built his first trading post. So he definitely wants to secure at least a few trading posts, and going to have an easy way of doing that.
Yeah, but having said that, look at this. He's got his explorer and his native scout on top of Don de Corando, and if the explorer goes down, he's not going to have the ability to build as many. I'm checking the units in queue, and I was really wondering if Gaia would train perhaps a war dog or two at his explorer whilst he was building that. He does bring his existing war dog into the fray. I wonder if it's worth. Okay, he's going to try and retreat now, but do you think it's better to stay at the trading post? It does have a 25 ranged attack.
Yes, but on the other hand, he's going to get another 100 HP very soon, so he just wants to survive.
Oh, that's right.
Until he's 8.
But
so
do you think he's going to 90 HP? He's using the scout to block the war dog. The war dog's chasing the scout. He's got 8 life. It takes one more shot.
Okay.
Can he do it? Oh, he's up to the next. No, he's not. No, that's Luke Tom.
It's Luke Tom, but he's run away, so that's fine now. And meanwhile, he did decide to build another trading post with his villager. Very nice for him, because he knew he would not get it off with his hero, and now his hero is saved with 108 hit points. Outpost very defensively being placed against double barracks, so either double musketeer or crossbowman pike rush coming from Tom. That's why he didn't build a trading post. I was wondering why Luke Tom did gang saw, and I think it's going to be a bow pike.
10 pikemen in queue, and I think I quite like this. It's going to be I don't necessarily know how. Has Gaia seen it? He certainly has now. The war dog does come across this, so now he can make some of the necessary adaptations. But I think, though, so hear me out here. Obviously, he doesn't want to lose his town center, but could he not just move all of his villagers over to the trading post route and kind of exist over there where the sort of massive outpost ranged attack buildings are? And I think maybe he could do quite well against that. Certainly doesn't want to lose the trading post. But where are the pikemen going? They're going to go straight towards the
trading post, yes. But I don't think 25 range attack is going to be enough to protect against.
No, but in combination with other units, right? I'm just thinking how Russia slams down blockhouses everywhere, and they're quite useful whilst defending. But obviously, these pikemen will make no match. I do like how Luke Tom putting that particular pikeman that's being ranged attacked into cover mode so that it takes less damage, I think. So there is that. But yeah, I don't think Guy has gotten down as many trading posts as he would like. He's only 3 here, and that is as a result of, the Explorer being quite low.
Well, on the other hand, he does not have any more wood. He only now is shipped 700 wood. Well, he's aging. Yeah. With the surgeons at arms, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be 4 pikemen and 4 crossbowmen.
8 pikemen. Oh, really? I think it's just 8 pikemen.
It might. Oh, yeah, probably 8 pikemen. I think. Yeah, 8 pikemen. I think you're absolutely right, because he most likely wants to get the 8 pikemen out and then use them to defend the 2 cannons that he'll most likely send. But Gaia, recognizing that the pikemen are, heading over to the trading post here, and it has plenty of time. Like, the trading posts are going to buy him enough time. They were very cheap, and he can certainly build them later. I think he's probably got the value out of them. The only problem is he did have to invest that shipment, but he knows he's got plenty of time to go safely up to the next age, which is exactly what he's doing. He's going for that fast fortress, and when he gets up, he's going to have some incredibly powerful shipments available to him. 5 lancers, 2 falconets, 4 lancers, 9 rods. All of these things are exceptional, and I think they could single-handedly help him stabilize here.
Yes, I really like how Garja is also adding in 5 dogs because you know he just will have to survive. Will have to buy some more time, and 5 dogs are going to do great against both crossbowmen and pikemen. Also, really like how he built his other trading post here in the earlier portion of the game because the pikemen probably won't walk all the way over there, and if they will, then they cannot put any pressure on Garja's base.
Yeah, it gives him plenty of time, and you know when you're in the colonial age and they get up to fortress, and then you're halfway across the map sieging a trading post, you're gonna feel pretty sad. So yeah, I like the placement as well. Definitely nice. I also like the fact that he has finally now built the trading post in. But yeah, as you mentioned earlier, it makes sense that he didn't want to go for that because this is certainly more aggressive than ordinary France. It's obviously the crossbowman pikeman rush.
Yes. However, he's only now at 8 minutes sending 4 extra villagers for Carreras, and that does mean his economy is not as good as it could have been, and also sending 600 wood for pikemen and crossbowmen is not really what you want to do, of course. Well, you want to do a lot of damage with it, and I don't know if he's done enough damage.
Yeah. Oh, does manage to take out one of the pikemen there. Could have gotten 2 if he's a bit quicker on the ball. Sadly, it isn't. I do agree with you. He wants to get the 4 vills out as soon as possible, but equally, it can be quite hard to do a crossbow pike rush without sending both the 700 and 600 wood.
Yes, but I don't know it was needed, all those crossbowmen.
Yeah, certainly
they didn't do really anything.
Yeah, I think all he really needed was a few pikes to damage the trading route as much as possible,
Yes,
and then perhaps,
exactly.
yeah, you know, as you're mentioning, send 4 vills, and then maybe go up to the next stage, perhaps something like that. But we do have an engagement here. He can't get away now because the war dogs have gotten into combat. The cannon's setting up. He does just get out of range. He cannot stay in range of those 2 falcons, but either way, they're going to be very, very effective against that barracks. He has to keep walking away here, and whilst he's doing that, going to take damage from the war dogs, and of course the Minutemen with their really long range, and the skirmishers with their really long range, but also the Minutemen as well. Either way, yeah, Pike's now coming back to defend the cannons, and these barracks is something like bye-bye.
Yes. Meanwhile, Luke Tom has sent 700 coin and is going to try to age up.
Yeah. But perhaps a shipment too late, right? Maybe he didn't want to send the 600 wood, and he could be, you know, already have collected that up and be up to the next stage. Do you think?
Yeah, he could have done exactly what he did, except for
like
not
a whole
sending the
shipment sooner.
600 wood, because he only made a few crossbowmen and a few pikemen with it. But those are really being useless. He never attacked the base of Garja. He only attacked a few trading posts. So.
Yeah, maybe just
Garja
one.
now pushing out, and he's only halfway for aging, while the Falconets are coming towards.
Whilst approaching, yeah, and like when they hit your base and you're aging up, that's it's not too good of a time. Thankfully, though, he does have the fast aging politician and can get up. But these Minutemen and skirmishers and war dogs making short work of the remaining crossbowmen. Those pikemen, I think, continuing to siege the trading post. Now moving, no, they're going to get out of there. Look, Tom is now up to the fortress age. But the storm is coming. The rods have arrived as well. The Spanish army is getting larger and larger, and those falcons are going to be, well, quite hard to deal. Well, he does have falcons of his own. We'll have to see how that goes. But Spain is approaching. The storm is coming.
He does have falcons of his own, but if you look at the economic unit population, sorry, really a nasty word to say, looks like they're about on the same ego, and Garja just got a lot better military and got a lot more units out, where look like Luke Tom is just running in the edge of the map with 6 pikemen, and that's not going to help him in the
I like where he put them,
only
though.
got 5 dragoons.
Yeah, well, they are going to be really useful for bringing out that final trading post, which he's invested quite a lot into in terms of killing and sieging. So he's going to go back and kill that. So I like that, and then perhaps can go home. But whilst this is happening, yeah, dragoons, he's going to need more than that. Looks like he's going to lose this house as well, and then maybe some. Where are the cannons going? They're posed.
The cannons
Poised,
are
rather.
just going around the trees, trying.
Oh, that's
to
just
get
a
them to
path.
dance.
2 falconets of his own do arrive, and calling Minutemen. This is go time, he thinks. I would like to see a villager pool as well, but not the case here. Does manage to get a volley off on the rods. Was it that I saw? 2 purple falcons coming in, though. Guy is going to have to be careful here, but equally so is Luke Tom. This is a very tense standoff. Both players will be here right now looking at this. They're going to be ignoring their economies. They're going to be making sure that this falcon engagement goes right. Dragoons coming in. Nice volley onto the Minutemen there. Does manage to take them down. Does manage to pick up a cannon. Gaia takes the first shot. The Dragoons coming in and does manage to focus one, but has got half life left on a falconet here and decisively wins that fight. Really nice falconet engagement from Gaia.
And actually, I wouldn't be surprised to see the game end very fast from here. Even got a few skirmishers doing a raid on a villager that's out in the open, and he's just going to get this stable in a few moments. And after that, he can take down all the houses and the barracks, and they both just can keep sending those shipments. But I don't think Luke Tom can get on the same amount of military population as Garja anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. Luke
Yes,
Tom has resigned, and Garja does take game number 2 in this best of 5 series. GG indeed. I think it'll be quite interesting this time to take a look at the sort of all units, all resources gathered. That's always a nice one to see. But perhaps more interestingly, military unit population. You can see a big burst of stuff coming out from Luke Tom, and whilst the graph is very high, Garja has no units here. They're just not doing enough, right? Like, they are sieging the trading post, but whilst that's happening, Garja is going up to the Fortress Age without really any pressure in his base, and even if he had perhaps pressured the base, I still see things being very, very samey. I'm just not sure if the crossbow pike is well, especially with the 600 wood that you're mentioning, was adequate. Maybe he just needed to get some early damage, perhaps like maybe with just one barracks and training some pikemen, and then going up to the Fortress Age to match Spain. What do you think of that assessment?
Yes, I think you're right about that, and I also think French in this matchup always does have a hard time, especially on this map with very high trade post count. And yeah, it's really hard. I don't know what he could have done better. I think I would just have gone for a trade post early on and do a semi-FF and maybe make 5 hussars early on, try to do some damage. But
Yeah.
it was definitely interesting to see this rush coming.
Yeah, and there are some times where that kind of thing can catch your opponent off guard. But yeah, now that you mention it, I do think Hussar semi is probably the way to play it. But there is certainly game number 2 ultimately going to Garja, and we'll be back with game number 3, which is the final game potentially. Match point to Garja certainly, but can Luke Tom take at least a game off, or maybe this is the start of the reverse sweep? We'll have to see. But, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We will be right back very shortly.
After months at sea, we arrived in this strange new world.
We shall claim this territory in the name of the Empire.
The deadliest battle I've ever witnessed. We prepare for another day of battle. I pray that I will live to see the end.
My life is a small sacrifice for victory. We will do whatever it takes to make this new world ours.
Age of Empires 3, rated T14, in stores now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, the ESOC Autumn Championships 2016. This is, of course, game number 3 in a best of 5 series between Garja and Luke Tom. Looks like here that Garja, now that Luke Tom selected, Garja had to pick first in the previous game, but now Luke Tom does have to pick first, because after that it does alternate.
Yes, the first game Garja won, so the second game Garja had to pick first, and in the third game it means Luke Tom has to pick first.
That is correct. Looks like Luke Tom has selected Aztec. And in response to that, Riot going to be going for India. What do you think? Do you think Garja will click in with India?
I definitely think he will click in with India. On this map I think India is a very good choice, also because of the very high yak count and the wood treasure count. So I think this is definitely a very good map.
I do wonder how Luke Tom will do with Aztec, given that it is one of Garja's best civs. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 3 in this best of 5 series. We are now starting. The matchup is India versus Aztecs on the map Manchuria. Spawning in the north of the map. In the color,
Yes,
in the color purple,
purple, yes.
we do indeed have Look Tom.
Yes, playing as Aztecs, of course, against Garja, or Riot as he's called in this game, playing as India, and looks like he's starting with 300 wood, which means it's going to be a 200 wood start for the Aztecs player, so he might go for an early market. Of course not, he's going for the fire pit, of course. So.
We have seen people lay down trading posts before, so I think that is on the cards. It is something that is possible that could happen. But certainly, fire pits and markets are, those are the things that do happen, and perhaps have been happening for longer. But we'll have to see. It doesn't look like he's going to be sending the Explorer right off to the trading post there. I'm going to head on straight out into the map. But before he gets to those cows, Garja does find 2 yaks there, going to be picking them up. What treasures is he going to come across? That Aztec Explorer is very strong, very good at picking up treasures. There is a nice big juicy wood treasure over here, 90 wood, and that by the looks of it is where he's going to go. He's going to be very pleased to see that because, oh, do you think he saw it? Yeah, he did. He's going to go back and convert the Guardian.
Yeah,
a lion would be truly exceptional in this early portion, and 90 wood, then it becomes very easy once you've converted a Guardian there. It's gone a little bit idle. Come on, look, Tom, you need to do something with your very strong Aztec Explorer. Look at the elephant man transporting all the cows, though. Holy balls.
Yeah, definitely going to grab a lot of yaks. He's got 2 in here. Already got 1 in his base, so got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yaks out of the 10. So looks like there's 1 more here and 1 more here. So he might get all 10 of them, or at least 8 of them. We do see Look Tom indeed going for the 90 wood, as you said, and got himself a lion and the 90 wood. Definitely good for him. Only now tasking his warrior priest on the fire pit. I don't know why that took so long. But
yeah, only just getting that, and that he really needs the XP, especially in this matchup when all these cows are going to be working away from him. I wonder if he'll build a sacred field. I really also would like to see him pick up every cow on the map, but somehow I don't think he's going to be able to do that, and the Aztec Explorer will be able to get one. The lion is scouting, and I'm not quite sure how that works, but the lion can somehow communicate to the yak that it needs to go in a easterly direction towards the town center. We're going to see that any moment now, by the looks of it.
yeah, but the lion cannot actually take the Gaia yaks.
Oh, it can't. Can it convert? Yeah, because I know war dogs can.
No. War dogs can, but converted guardians cannot.
Okay.
I think it's the only unit that cannot. So
that's a really subtle thing there about the balance of the game that was thought through. That converted treasure guardians shouldn't be able to convert things.
Yes, and it might actually make a difference here now because Garja is going to scout this one, and yeah, you can see Luke Tom is going straight forward with his hero, but he's not in time. So this one is Garja's now, if he can protect it well enough.
Yeah, I really a lot of players would send that yak straight home, and if he had done that, it would have been picked up by the Zergling's bitch, apparently, is the name of that Aztec Explorer. But the cow going to follow the elephant around. Garja going to be very careful, and wherever the elephant goes, the yak will follow. But by the looks of it, he might, actually take the yak by brute force.
Well, I would have... If I were
delete the yak
right now, yes, delete the yak right now because you are going to lose your. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, delete coming out. But maybe it was a deliberate thing. Maybe he chose to, because you do get a little bit of time just before the elephant would die, but it wouldn't convert instantly. You do get a little bit of time. Maybe he knew that it was fine and was trying to deliberately get that yak as far away from Look Tom's base as possible before deleting it to make it as awkward as possible to gather should he have any inkling of wanting to send a villager out there. But now it's so far away, might not really be worth the villager seconds to do. But
he just walked right into dang, he's saying he just walked right into the lion. It looks like he did it on purpose. So now he lost one of his heroes. The other one is also dead right here.
Did he die to the Black Panther?
Food.
Oh,
yes,
Gaia, mistakes all around. Should really be anticipating that the Panther would be able to kill an Explorer. Maybe he was banking on a stomp and thought, I must get at least one stomp, something like that, and be able to...
I think he was just too preoccupied with his other
that's
heroes,
right,
so
and maybe...
he did not pay attention.
That's true, he was trying to look up, he was babysitting his cow. Yeah, trade post does come out from Look Tom. What does this tell us then?
Well, I haven't seen Look Tom play too much, so let's take a quick look.
We
at
do
his
see
deck.
2 forward villagers coming through, so perhaps it does indicate...
Yes.
Well, certainly this indicates he wants to be aggressive. I want the trading post obviously just supporting the economy behind that, the sort of shipment
Yes.
progression.
But I
He's going to
don't
do a little
think-
bit of herding there perhaps before laying down his war hut. But both players... Well, look, Tom now certainly up to the next age, and his first shipment, cords of 700 wood, does arrive there, and with that I imagine he will be beginning to lay down, by the looks of it, a second trading post. That's where that explorer is going, but of course
Yes.
the war hut as well.
Yeah, and definitely, I don't think he's going to be too aggressive because of the 2 trading posts and of course, the 700 wood first, but he might do a timing push in a few minutes. I don't see a market, so it's not going to be a very greedy build. On the other hand, we have Garja running on a lot of market upgrades, already got hunting eagles and blanket filters, and got a very defensive aircraft for it, so he's probably trying to use the yaks he got and the advantage that India got with their eco to get some kind of eco advantage.
Yeah, he wants to go into the late game, and that totally makes sense, right, with all of the yaks that he's managed to pick up. But
Yes.
equally, Garja, very experienced with Aztec, and obviously therefore going to be experienced against Aztec. He knows what they're capable of, and perhaps this is him hedging his bets against some kind of aggressive strategy. Of course, we did just see Look Tom play crossbow pike, and at that point you have to wonder, well, are you going to be aggressive again with Aztec? Garja is very aware of what could happen here, and going to play defensively because of that. But also, yes, he does have tons of yaks, and he's clearly setting up for the long game. Flumendigen just coming in as well. The Lion coming in to scout him out and see perhaps what is going on. But look, Tom,
The Lion
600...
might see the stable, but no, it just doesn't. That's really unfortunate for him.
Yeah, and because it's a treasure guardian, we do get to use the ability on it there as well. Going to block it from going anywhere near that stable. He certainly doesn't want to give that away. I mean, it's quite... Look, Tom might suspect something like that, but it's always nice to be absolutely certain. But yeah, Puma Spearman does come out. This is a lot of siege damage arriving right now.
Yes, also very good against the Ottoman consulate. If he does use the consulate for the gardeners, the Puma, of course, are going to counter them directly. If he's going to use the Ottoman consulate for the Minutemen and the villagers, it won't be too
Yeah,
much of a
sadly though, all of those resources and these expensive Pumas, 50 food, 50 gold, just not doing anything. Looking at them walking around, they walked up to the consulate, did a little bit of damage to it, and then they were like, oh, 2 Gurkhas and a sepoy and some sepoys, and they had to leave. So really here, look, Tom is the loser. He's got lots of idle military unit population, which you do have to sometimes evaluate as kind of like in the same way as idle villagers. You don't want your soldiers sitting around doing nothing, especially in this early portion when they need to be sort of doing some damage, doing some lasting sort of meaningful stuff against Gaia, given that he's investing all of these resources into his economy. You need to kind of, if you're investing into military, use that to do damage to your opponent's economy as to kind of even the playing field, obviously. But here, yeah, Mace Holton do arrive. Was that a shipment? It was. They needed to be shipped to the war hut, but sadly, not changing the spawn point and just giving Gaia some extra time, about 25 more seconds, I would say, or maybe about 20 seconds actually, to walk that distance, and that is a huge amount of time for India.
Yes, on the other hand, I mean, Luke Tom has got 3 trading posts with stagecoach on them, so
He
definitely
does.
a huge boost for his economy. And I don't like the Pumas being wasted here, but on the other hand, he's just containing Garja. Garja knows I cannot push out against so many Puma Spearmen. He's got even more Puma Spearmen now, and 10 Mesa Halton, so Garja cannot push out just yet. And the trade post is going to be a really good eco boost. Also, mixing in a market for hunting dogs and pleasure mines, and now with the 9 Mesa Halton, he's going to push out. So I really like how he waited, because he just wanted to get some eco up and send some more shipments.
That's true, but I do wonder if he
Now
ought to have
Constance going
started perhaps with Mace Holton, or perhaps instead of one batch of Mace Holton, one batch of Puma. But it does manage to... is coming in now and is able to take out that consulate. Gaia moved his units halfway across the map, and because I think he wanted to go siege a trading post, but as a result of that is lost his consulate and perhaps this house as well.
Yes, house is definitely going down. He did, by the way, send 4 settlers from his consulate. So it's not like the consulate have had no use at all. But only 4 settlers for the 200 wood and the export is still not really what you want. Ideally, you want to keep having the bonus the allied person gives you, and of course send the Minutemen or the gardeners, and not only the four villagers.
Does he continue to get the line of sight bonus, or does that disappear now that the consulate is gone?
I think that...
So for those that don't know, the Ottoman consulate gives 10 line of sight, so basically Spanish Inquisition to all of your military units, economic units and buildings, and that can be valuable, especially when you're playing a... actually, I think he does still have it, judging from the sort of radius on the mini-map.
I also think so, because he's now rebuilding his consulate, and once that's up, you will see that he's still allied to the Ottomans, so the alliance was never broken. It's just that he could not do any,
He had no emissary for the Ottoman people to go to in times of need.
They're no longer French just because the consulate has been burnt out.
Yeah.
Kind of stupid, right?
We'll see if the line of sight increases now that this is up. It does not increase, so actually that bonus was maintained. Oh, actually maybe it has increased. I'm not actually certain. Either way, let's talk about the more interesting thing that's happening here. Garja pushing it out across the map with a whole bunch of Gurkha here are going to be starting to seize. But here we do see it. He's going to engage with his cavalry, the runners. They're basically cavalry. They're going to get onto the Gurkha and do some good damage here. The Puma's going back. They need to stay close to the most Holton, I suppose, but...
Puma's going to get the elephants, and he is going to get back. I think he could have had a nice position, but on the other hand, he just played it safe, killed 2 elephants, and now another 5 coyote coming out from a shipment. And he might be waiting for another good position here.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Sours and Gurkhas are both going to get countered by the coyote runner, especially when you already have some pumas. So I don't know what... Oh, he's adding in some barracks now, so that's good by Garja. And also got the gardeners. So that's really good against the coyote runners, because I don't think Sours and Gurkha alone are going to be enough against...
Camel attack coming in as well, so definitely setting up for the long game. 4 Sours was just when he saw the Aztec coming in, but does have a really quite nice economy. Garja's unit, 47 recalculated economic unit population, given that foreign logging has come in. And look Tom's. This is a very similar story to that first game, right? He's investing in unit shipments that need to be used immediately to get a long-term bonus, and they've been sitting around that 10 Mace Halton, 9 Mace Halton, 5. Oh, look at the coyotes out of position, Edie. Oh, that's so bad for him. He needs all of his units in one place, and his army is just...
It's really a disaster right there. And I mean, the skirmishers are gonna get taken out by Puma plus Mace Haldens, but...
It's not as bad as that other trade, right? So, yes, he's losing skirms and doesn't want to do that, but I think he's okay with it because he managed to kill all of the coyote runners, and it's just so good for him. Look, and now look Tom having to get back here, being pursued, being kited by these Zambaraks.
I think they were in a quite even position, but after that trade, I think Garja is definitely in a better position here.
Yeah, I was mentioning the unit.
Always coyote runners.
Yeah, I was mentioning the economic unit population, but I was going to move on to mention the trading post that Tom does have, and that does kind of even it out, though Guy is still slightly ahead. But here, this fight just so overwhelmingly in Red's favor. No coyotes here, just very, very few pumas. Going to focus those down, and then there's nothing left really to defend against the cavalry. Just everything going to melt away, and I think we might just see the GG come out for him there.
Yes, I think we are really good at calling the GGs here, and indeed, I mean, it's 51 military pop against 4 now, so we're never gonna get up from this, and the war is going to go down, and after that you can just walk into the base and right click and win the game from there. He does not have a second warhead or second building at all, so that is going to be the end of this game, I would say. He is aging though, so that might be his final effort, but 10 Coyote or 8 Puma are not really going to help him get back in this game against a huge mass of India units.
He does have, well, I don't think 18 Mace Halton and an upgrade to their hit points will save him, and I don't think he's going to get 1,000 gold either. Maybe if he tasks a whole bunch of villagers up here to golds and retasks his stagecoach economy to gold. I do, but maybe then he could get that shipment out. But even if he does, it's nothing like, you know, what India has access to in this kind of, which we have kind of seen before. You know, like we're seeing some delete. Look, Tom has resigned. I was going to mention Yarumi and Mahouts and stuff like that. You know, Aztec doesn't have anything big that you can pop on top of an army and just eliminate it. But that is a 3-0 decisive victory to Garja and does progress through to the round of 16. Look, Tom is eliminated. Thank you very much for watching. This tournament has been brought to you by ESO-community.net. We host we host seasonal tournaments, all with cash prizes, all funded by the generosity of the community and the ad revenue that we do get from this particular Twitch channel and our YouTube as well. Links to those in the Twitch chat and, of course, the description of this YouTube video if you are watching it as a VOD. I've been casting alongside Edeholland.
Hello, everybody, and yeah, goodbye. It was fun casting with Interjection, and it was a fun series, even though it was quite short.
Yeah.
We have had some interesting things, I would say, so.
Yeah, Desert Terror just arriving at the very end of the game there, not for what
Yes.
it's worth. But yes, thoroughly enjoyed that one, even though perhaps it was quite short. Do sign up to our forum. It is the largest on the internet for Age of Empires 3. If you want to keep up to date with the scene, certainly something to do. But yes, that is it from Edie and me, and that is it from ESOT TV tonight. That was our final game, of course, of the day. You can see the schedule there. Every Saturday, Sunday, and now Fridays as well, we do this streams all day to get this tournament to you. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all again next time.
You.